Hey there everybody, it's Wayne D. Welcome to the website, WayneD.com. I wanted to do a swing analysis of a player that first time I saw him was last week on TV, and I knew right away there was something about this swing that was different. And as it turns out, he's got lots of Wayne D-isms in his swing, very reminiscent of a Hogan type action. He's one of the best ball strikers on the tour. In fact, he's first all around. He's the best sand player. He's like third in ball striking, fifth in driving. I mean, it's ridiculous. He doesn't make enough putts so far to be up in the top FedEx guys, money winner guys, but this is impressive. So it's kind of neat. One of the first things I noticed was the stance. I had back issues all my life, and for about 5 or 6 years I decided I would, because I couldn't get out of my own way, I'd pull my left foot back, and I actually won my biggest tournament with an open stance. It may not have been quite this open, but it does offer the clear the left leg simply. So it may be that in his backswing, since he likes to get deep and he bends into the shot, that with his leg back there, his left hip never gets really in the way. So recently I did a little video on Hogan, and I pointed out the fact that he seemed to push his waist inward. As you see Wilcox here, we're going to watch the right leg really get deep without straightening the leg, which is very key. You can move that leg back. You look where it is now. Without straightening the leg. Get a slight bit of camera movement, but not much. And watch this iron shot. This is pretty much right behind him, like we like it. So as you'll see, the shaft. So a lot of these things I like in a setup, fairly erect posture to start with. Fairly high grip here, above the waist, more at the belly button. I like that too. Slight knee flex. Weight definitely toward the front of the feet here. Now watch as he moves. You're going to watch the head. Of course, he's eventually, if he's really good, every time he hits a bad shot, one of the knuckleheads on TV is going to comment on his head dropping. Right, they'll still do that no matter what. You could tell it drops a ton because the line's following him. So the camera's moving a little bit, so he's dropping even more. You can see it. There's his back at address. Now look at, so that's one of these guys can produce this really sharp angle, and he does it from up here. So when you're looking at Hogan swings, you're looking at the same thing. It's called adding posture, and it's athletic as heck. So the other thing you're going to see here is the way the right arm moves. Watch it bend. It's going to fold up. So this is what I would call a high right arm. And the nature of the opening of the face here after the takeaway starts is going to stop the right arm and reverse direction. So this is an athletic throwing motion. Watch the right forearm here. You know, I try to get everybody to understand and do this. So this is a perfect example of the grip out, right elbow and right upper right arm moving into the front of the rib cage. The shaft is flattening. So he's got his shaft a little bit on the vertical side at left arm parallel, as you'll see here. So that's inside the ball. And I don't really mind that at all. It might be a little simpler to aim it a little more on plane at the ball, which would be over here. But as you can see, with a large amount of flattening, he's going to get the thing flat fairly late. Now here's the key to this. He's super open and he's late. So the right arm is getting in front. The club is still trailing. Now you might think the club being flat that long is going to get stuck, but not if you're like this. Now that's Sergio-like right here. So you talk about a shaft plane approach. Check that out. So it's really not a mystery why some guys hit it really good. This is exceptional. And it's such a whip. He's 6'1", he weighs like 150 pounds, but the guy averages 290 plus. He can bank it. Watch the way this club follows through. Look where it comes out. Now you talk about a swing that doesn't require much thought during the swing. I mean, you really can't. This is just reactive. Boom. Gotta love it. Watch this driver swing. He's just gonna rip this. So again, pulls it in on plane, right arm high. So you can see the elbows are nice and even at left arm parallel. Now watch the right arm and see how much more that elbow moves. Almost none. And then right inward. Look at that. You talk about sidearm motion there. So when you look at that right leg kick back in front like that, he has created so much depth, and the left hip is so in that when he does that, he's still back in the box. That impact. That's also reminiscent of a great player. If you look at Byron Nelson, you'll see some swings that look kind of like that one at impact. See if I got one of those. It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah, check that out. Of course, if we look at Hogan, we're also going to see that kind of opening. I always love the way that forearm, when it really releases nicely to the left, you can see that left forearm pointed over that way. So if you look at where his head is now, where it started, you know, once again, the Big Dipper here. He'll never make it. Now again, remember, these are what you would call fairly odd-looking swings, but Not really, and it's the best right now. It's #1 on tour. Now here we can see how it's hard to tell because it's not really face on here, but it would appear that his head is consistently moving to the left. And it is a wedge shot here, so I'm not quite sure if we looked at these longer shots if you would see the head moving forward. So we got a little forward press. Here you can see the inwardness of the hips and the way the right arm spaces away right here and stays high above the left. Now the camera's elevated looking down at him, so it's going to make that right arm look a little higher than it is, but still obviously up there. Now watch it just dig right in. So there's the arm tucked back in on the approach. And even with this little shot, look how open that is. So the open stance probably figured out, just fiddling, that his lower body would work better if he's set up that way. But certainly beautiful transition. So if we look at that, we kind of glance at this one. He's so open, and he's snapping so hard. His left leg snaps, his heel comes up off the ground. That is cool stuff. All right, Will Wilcox. We'll be watching him. If he can figure out how to roll it in the hole, guy's going to be tough to beat. All right, Wayne D here.